Psalm 50. The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. And I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, but the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, and thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to our younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful that got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. All right, and what I want to get into today, just an update, on what's going on over there in that region, dealing with Israel, the Gaza Strip, all right, and, dealing with how things are unfolding, just so we stay up to date, we're going to understand, where we at with it. You got different nations speaking on it, Hezbollah is rumored, to be involved, and then you have Iran, rumored to say they're going to get involved if if there's a ground operation in Gaza. Okay, we're going to get into these things, and we're going to get up into the backdrop, what's been happening behind the scenes, in their region, building up, until the time that we're seeing now. Because there's always a backstory. By the time it hits the news, and you have the propaganda machine behind it, and you have these situations. There's always a lead up and the build up and the backstory, all right, that's happening, and it plays out, you know, and what we see today is propaganda. Okay, so we're gonna deal with the backstory in their region and see what's going, and see how it aligns with prophecy, and this shows how the Lord's word, His counsel is gonna stand. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna pull up a map so we can have something to reference to. Yeah, we'll get to it. All right, so let's start here with this precept, and then I got a few, about 3 videos to get into, and we'll go from there. Now let's start here in Isaiah 46 and 8. All right, Isaiah 46 and 8 said, "Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I'm the Most High, and there is none else. I'm the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." And what we're seeing happening in the earth is the Lord's counsel, which is contained within the scriptures, is playing out in the earth. The Lord is doing His pleasure, all right, because it's the Lord's pleasure to end this wicked rulership of Esau, Edom, okay, and the rest of these heathens, all right, and to establish the rulership of Yahweh Shai in the earth, okay. And let's get there real quick, because this is what all these things that we're seeing is building up to, prophecy, okay. These things are happening because of prophecy, okay. In Psalms 2 and 1, it says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" All right, and this is what we're seeing, these heathen raging, and they're imagining a vain thing with this new world order agenda that they have, man. Okay, he think he gonna see hip the world, okay, and he's gonna have a perpetual rulership. He think he's gonna post up in Israel and pretend to be the chosen. Okay, he has all these things imagined, but it's vain. All right, and what we're doing now, we're seeing the heathen rage or conspire. It says, "The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against His anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us." Okay, and this is the minds. This is the whole agenda of this new world order, is to completely break away from righteousness, man. Okay, that's why scriptures speak about there's going to be an insurrection on those that fear Yahweh by Shema Shai. Okay, because they want to completely do away with righteousness and establish, all right, this new beast world order, man. Okay, and it says, "He that sitteth in the heaven shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision." Yeah, because this is laughable to the Most High what these heathens are planning. Okay, because the Lord's counsel is going to stand. Okay, what He says is going to stand. All right, and in the scriptures, Esau has no victory. Okay, the elect under Yahushua had the victory, man, over all this, man. So we looking at the bigger picture. This is what this is leading up to. It says, "Then shall he, which is the Most High, speak unto them, the heathen, beginning with Esau, in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. And the stage is set for this to happen, because this is going to happen, all right, in World War III, when the Lord, okay, is going to judge these heathens, beginning with destroying their militaries, man. Okay, beginning with America, all right, and then the NATO, okay, well, mainly destroying, okay, America. They're gonna get the brunt, of the destruction of World War III. But all these EU nations, all right, they finna get their work too, you know, and it's all gonna be through who? Yahweh Shai. Verse 6, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. That's Yahweh Shai. And this is what everything we're seeing is leading to. Okay? We're seeing the build up, whether things spiral out of control or they die down. All right. Ultimately, this is where it's headed. Eventually it has no choice but to go all the way. But we know there are still things yet to happen. All right. So I just want to show everyone where we at, when it comes to this current situation going on over there. All right, just to show everyone where we at. Now I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna get this one first. And all right, so this is from Redacted. All right, let me see. Okay, yeah, so this is from the channel Redacted, and he's going to go into some things and some moves that's been going on in their region, and it'll make more sense of why we see the things unfolding like they're unfolding. So I'm gonna let this play, all right, and then we'll go from there. All right.
Israel and Gaza bigger than the United States just announcing it's something big is coming, bigger than what is happening in Israel and Gaza, bigger than the United States just announcing it's sending a massive second carrier group to Israel. No, we are being played like pawns on a giant globalist chessboard right now. And if you watch our show for any length of time, you already know this. Of course, you're already informed about this. At the heart of it, though, are real human beings suffering unimaginable cruelty as these globalists try to consolidate power. It's really the unipolar versus multipolar world war that we have been predicting here on this channel. We'll get into that part of the story here in a moment. But first, I just returned from northern Egypt this weekend, where the eyes of the world are on the massive ground invasion of Gaza by the Israeli army. Now, according to sources this morning, the invasion has been delayed for a short time because of rain. There's too much cloud cover right now over northern Gaza at this moment, which is hindering what Israeli pilots would be able to do. So we're in this sort of holding pattern right now, a calm before the storm, if you.
Now, which we're going to see in another video. So pretty much, the IDF, all right, the Israeli Defense Force, they're positioning themselves to do a ground invasion in Gaza. They've given, all right, 1.2 million Gazas, Palestinians in Gaza, the order, to evacuate before the invasion. Now, as the IDF, is got themselves in array or battle formation in the Gaza Strip, ready for a land invasion. You have, rumors that Iran is saying that if Israel invades, okay, and they're there for more than 48 hours, that they're going to intervene. So we'll get that, as a clip with the guy going into that. All right, after we play this clip, so it's like we trying to see, like Israel is there, position. Iran threw their message out. There's rumors that Hezbollah, is going to be involved. Okay, so the thing to see now is if they go forward with their ground invasion of Gaza. Now I want to show where Gaza is good to understand these maps, the geography of these things, and why certain nations are being talked about in these times. Now you keep hearing about Egypt. Now Gaza is right here. Now this white piece of land to the left is Egypt. So Gaza has a border with Egypt. So Gaza is like in the southwest, okay, of Israel, right before you get to Egypt. So it has a border on the Mediterranean, and it has a border, all right, on Egypt. Okay, so you're gonna hear a lot of talk about what Egypt has to say, because a lot of those Palestinians, are pretty much trying to come into to Egypt, due to the order to evacuate from the IDF. All right, so that's why we keep hearing about Egypt so much. Okay, so that's pretty much where we at, and he's gonna go into the time leading up to that. Certain move that was made before we got to this point.
If you will. In the meantime, Egypt is cautious about what this would mean for their country, as millions of Palestinians could try to pour across into northern Egypt. Egypt has deployed troops to this area in order to prevent chaos. The ex-foreign minister of Israel says here's what should happen. Egypt should set up a massive tent city and move Palestinians into the Sinai desert so they can live in a tent city, kind of like Burning Man in the desert.
The area, where were they to go?
Okay, very, very. I mean, this is thought out. It's not something that we tell them go to the beaches, go drown yourselves, God forbid. Not at all. The idea is for them to live over to the open areas where we and the international community will prepare the infrastructure. Tent cities with food and with water. You know what? Just like for the refugees of Syria.
That's one idea. The other idea is that the Palestinians, could, stay in their own homes, as long as we're spitballing ideas here. Back to Egypt. Egypt says the Western media are lying about their border. Egypt says their side of the border is open at the Rafah border crossing, but the Gaza side was destroyed on Tuesday by Israeli airstrikes. The attack on the border crossing was confirmed, in fact, by the Israeli press on Tuesday. This is not a conspiracy theory. And sources told me that the infrastructure on the Gaza side of this crossing was destroyed.
So here it is. The IDF told the Palestinians to evacuate. And when they started to evacuate, they destroyed, the border between Egypt and Gaza. This man, he's just a goddamn devil, man. For brother can, he told them to evacuate, but then he destroyed the borders. The border crossing, man. If we can get that in, let's get that in Isaiah chapter 14. Let's see, Isaiah. All right, yeah, Isaiah 14:6, Bob Kashah. If a brother can post that, the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 6. Okay? But yeah, man, this is how the devil is getting down. But he's the victim, and we're going to show you how, that propaganda has taken deep root, okay, in the earth, man. This man, witchcraft is deadly, man. Okay, it's media deadly, and we're gonna get into all that, man. You know, Lord will. I'm gonna let it play while our brother get that. Yep, the water, bro. He's from the brother Yashima tribe of Judah. Isaiah 14:6. It says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth," man. And who runs the earth like this, man? Okay, just a continual stroke on the masses, man. You know, he rules as if he's always in anger, man. There's always some type of wicked, mischievous, agenda that this man has going on, man. You know, here it is. He's already, using propaganda to displace, these Palestinians. All right, and then as they try to leave, he blows up the border crossing, man. Okay, this man's the absolute devil and the wicked that the Bible speaks of, man. No doubt about it. Okay, so I'm gonna let it play.
So getting trucks and convoys through would be impossible. And we just got these images in a few moments ago. These are images you will not see on CNN. These are hundreds of trucks on the Egyptian side of the border filled with aid, medical supplies, food, and water ready to cross, but they are not being allowed to cross. So why the lies by the Western media?
There is no sign that the Egyptian side is open.
Egypt is refusing to provide a safe corridor for any Palestinian refugees looking to flee Gaza.
So first of all, secondly, if I may, Egypt is not refusing to provide safe passage.
And so still, unfortunately for the people there, no movement there.
Well, I have some ideas. Of course, the West would love nothing more than to blame Egypt for this, as Egypt has really pissed off the West. One of my commenters on a video yesterday said Egypt should join BRICS. Oh, but they already have filed to join BRICS, and they are aligning themselves with Russia and China. Just look at all the Western newspapers criticizing Egypt this morning. Reuters, which is a UK intelligence cutout, quote, "Egypt moves to prevent exodus of Palestinians." What does that even mean? They're moving to prevent an exodus? Here's the New York Times, quote, "As deaths soar in Gaza from Israeli strikes, Egypt offers aid, but no exit." The New York Times is awful, of course, but my favorite is the Washington Post. Quote, "Why Egypt isn't allowing Gaza refugees despite Israel evacuation order," end quote. So just look at the logic of this headline. So I'm just asking the obvious question, why is it Egypt's responsibility when Israel ordered the evacuation? Now, I'm no geography expert, but if Israel wants Palestinians to move out of the way, there's a pretty big border right here where they could come through. Israel could provide them with all the help they need, right? Why would you force them through a bombed out border crossing funnel into Egypt to live in a tent city?
This is the most expensive phone number in the world, and I own it. It cost me about $12 a year.
Journalist Mark Lamont Hill asked the same help they need, right?
And we can see the wickedness that's going on, man. All right, we can fully see the wickedness that's going on. Here it is, the Israeli, the IDF ordered the just like the guy said. Here it is, the IDF has given Palestinians, because if it's all about if it's all about the saving civilians, why? Okay, all the money. Okay, you got Mayweather, all these niggas, celebrities flying money over there. The U.S. government providing aid for the Israelis, but it's the Palestinians that's assed out. You see how backwards and twisted this man has everyone's thinking, man. Okay, you give them an order to evacuate, but they can't come across your border. They gotta go into Egypt, and now they're trying to make it. And Egypt is ready to help, but they won't let them. And now, man, this man is a hell of a liar, man. Okay, this man is just a goddamn liar, man. You see? Let this play again so we can hear the logic of what's going on, man. Okay? and you still have a simple ass nigga talking about they stand for Israel, man. But you tell him he's an Israelite, all right, you gotta whoop the nigga, man. Okay? This is a backwards ass society, man. Ran by Esau Edom.
Where they could come through. Israel wants Palestinians to move out of the way. There's a pretty big border right here where they could come through. Israel could provide them with all the help they need, right? Why would you force them through a bombed out border crossing funnel into Egypt to live in a tent city? Journalist Mark Lamont Hill asked the same ex-Israeli foreign minister that very same question this weekend.
We want to open a humanitarian corridor so they can leave. But if Hamas...
So that who
if
can
Hamas,
leave? So that who can leave? Citizens? You're saying civilians can leave, but only through the Rafah border, correct?
At this point, yes.
So they can't
because
come.
where else?
Your country. They can come into Israel.
But don't ask those types of questions. Instead, blame Egypt. It's all Egypt's fault. Okay, Egypt refused to send troops to help Israel, and they've moved further away from the United States and the West in recent months. Never mind that Egypt's economy is in ruins thanks to Western trade restrictions, that 2 million refugees would completely destabilize the country, and Egypt has gotten pretty darn cozy with Russia and Saudi Arabia. Joining BRICS means, of course, that control of the Suez Canal and the Red Sea will now belong to BRICS, not NATO, not the United States. The West would love nothing more than for Egypt to collapse in a pile of rubble under the weight of a refugee crisis. Side note, just walking around northern Egypt like I did in the shops, grocery stores, banks, you're going to hear a lot of Russian being spoken. The amount of Russian investment is about to skyrocket. Putin is sending billions to Egypt. Russia is moving a huge amount of manufacturing into Egypt. It's set to bring over 35,000 jobs to Egypt. Let's be honest, Bidenomics can't hold a candle to that kind of job creation.
Okay.
And Egypt is now the #1 investment destination for Arab nations and Eastern countries. I visited multiple construction sites that Saudi Arabia is working on, $500 billion investment projects in Egypt, building massive new marinas and hotels in northern Egypt, transforming 50 islands into a mini Dubai. It will transform this once impoverished area into a boomtown. There's construction everywhere. Do you think the United States likes that? It gets worse, because in a few days, China rolls out the next phase of their Belt and Road Initiative with massive investment and infrastructure through West Asia. And this week, Saudi Arabia dropped a bombshell saying they want to step up their trade with Russia. We can't see how things are going to go, but basically admitting, yeah, we're not interested in peace talks right now with Israel anymore. We have our friend Putin to the north, so bye-bye. Think the United States likes that? Think again. The unipolar world order is collapsing right before our eyes, and the West is trying desperately to hold on to power. Something bigger than Israel is coming. The globalists' plan for power is not playing out the way they had planned, and we are seeing the first major signs this weekend that 2024 is about to look a whole lot like 2020, with travel lockdowns, canceled flights, virtual schooling, virtual work.
Yeah, so as you can see, all right, Egypt has pretty much aligned themselves up with Russia and the Saudis, okay? China, you know, and they not with the West, man. So you see, the Israelis is using this opportunity to also try to, hinder, okay, Egypt's, Egypt, progress, man. Because those refugees, when you talk about a million, plus people going into your country, that's a major influx, okay, and they can damage an economy, man. All right. So what we're seeing with Egypt is that they're aligning, okay, under, all right, those Eastern nations, man. Okay. And they're pushing themselves away from the West and aligning with who? With Russia which is according to prophecy, because Egypt is what is a northern African country, man. Which when you go here to Ezekiel, all right, and you see the Saudis, they're coming up under the order of Russia. Okay? This is Ezekiel 38 and 4 says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, speaking of Russia, and will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, which we're seeing the beginning of that in Ukraine, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. And that's ultimately going to play out with all Russia allies, okay, are going to come up against this American Israeli alliance, man. See, what these Israelis are doing, all this propaganda, it's going to play against them, man. Okay, and these nations are going to mount up against them and the U.S., man. Okay, it says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, okay, which are what? Northern African countries, man. Egypt, all right, Ethiopia and Libya, all those in the same area, in the same region. Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, okay, which is weaponry, man. And Russia is known for those missile defense systems, man, that they've been passing out all over their region, man. Okay? So we're seeing everything play out exactly how the Lord said it would play out, man. So Egypt is pretty much moving with Russia and China, man. Okay? And the Saudis. All right? The Saudis are investing in Egypt, and the Saudis are now want to do more trade with Russia. Okay? And these Israelis, okay, are hated over there, man. They know that everyone knows that's not the people, man. Except a simple as, all right, American. Okay? But that's the rest of that video. You know, if you want to watch it, okay, you can watch the rest of it. Now let's go here to this video. Let's get this one. All right, he's just gonna expound, play about 5 minutes of it. He's gonna expound some more on things going on as well.
war against. Look at what happened yesterday. Israel started firing on Hezbollah positions inside of Lebanon. This is an absolute act of war, says many Middle Eastern countries, and they are saying that they are going to get basically absorbed into a large war against Israel and the United States of America. The country of Iran, which is basically on a very thin line between full-on nuclear war, sent a message to Israel stressing that it does not want to further escalate what is happening inside of the Hamas-Israeli war, but that it will intervene if any Israeli operation in the Gaza continues.
All right, so Iran, okay, says, look, we don't want any escalation, you know, from what's going on between, you know, Hamas, all right, and the IDF. You know, we don't want, you know, Iran, like, look, we're not trying to turn this into no regional, you know, conflict, no regional war, okay? But Iran says, you know, it's rumored that Iran is saying that if, you know, they do that invasion in Gaza and they're there more than 48 hours, you know, that they're going to intervene. So we're going to see. But see, it's the least of the flock that's causing all this, man. Okay, it's them doing wickedness that's causing all this havoc, man. Okay? Scriptures don't lie. So I'm going to let it play some more.
We see diplomatic sources with knowledge of the situation, saying that fighting between Hamas and Israel will turn into a full-blown Middle Eastern, full region-wide war as Iran gets involved, either directly or indirectly, such as if they use a militant group in Syria, or by backing Hezbollah's decision to fully join in the fight. Iran's message that was sent to Israel through the United Nations is happening just as the U.S. administration, led by President Joe Biden, has been trying to deter Iran and Lebanon from supporting different factions against Israel. This week, the U.S. has sent aircraft carriers, they've sent fighter jets, and they've sent personnel. We're sending our military. If you look at what's happening behind the scenes, we have seen the Iranian foreign minister, and he met with an envoy to the United Nations. This happened in Beirut, where diplomatic sources say that there was an urging to prevent a spillover of this conflict from reaching a wider region in the Middle East.
Is your wife constantly nagging you? It's annoying, right? No matter what you do, even if it's just trying to be a good husband, she always has to find a problem with it. And
now, can you imagine if you try to wake up and go to work tomorrow and you need to fill up your tank and it's $10 a gallon? Can you imagine what's going to happen if we see a nuclear war go off? It's going to be hell on earth, the end of the rule of law. You are going to see raiders in the streets. It's basically going to be every bad zombie post-apocalyptic movie that you have ever seen. Now, this wasn't in my cards for what I expected to happen this year. What I expected was a full-on Russian NATO conflict to be joined by a China-Taiwan conflict. Now, whether this was orchestrated by China and Russia, allowed to happen, pushed into existence, I don't know. But as we see Israel fighting against Hamas, Israel fighting against Lebanon, Israel, Hezbollah, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Iran, there's not going to be anything that stops the United States of America and our allies that went with us into the Middle East before from doing this once again. You have Lindsey Graham and other politicians inside the USA basically saying that Iran will be put out of the oil business if they can be even minorly connected to this war. Basically, they're saying that they're going to level the country, take away the government, institute a Western diplomatic government inside of Iran. The foreign minister replied that the country doesn't want this conflict to turn into a regional war. They want to help civilians that are being held hostage, but they have said if Israel crosses anything that Iran has as a red line or a line in the sand, if the Israeli military continues to operate in Gaza, if Israel follows through on its promise for a ground offensive that doesn't cease in a 48-hour period, then Iran will have no choice but to respond. They called on the Israeli National Security Advisor and other officials to say that Iran doesn't want this, but they're going to act. They say diplomatic efforts to release hostages are basically null and void. There is no de-escalation taking place. There's no prevention of a spillover, and the Israeli Prime Minister has declined to comment. Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs wouldn't respond to any comments, and what they are saying is that different leaders who have met with Hezbollah and met with Hamas recently in a briefing with reporters say that there must be a ceasing of the crimes against civilians in Gaza. They say this must happen because it's now too late, or we have too few hours left before this erupts into a volcanic eruption style war. One
Yep. So, he pretty much going into, all right, Iran stance, allegedly, okay, the scriptures say wars, rumors of wars, okay, so allegedly Iran, it said, look, we don't want, this to be a conflict, but if you go through with your ground invasion of Gaza and it doesn't cease in 48 hours, and Iran is going to get involved. Now, like I say, directly, I doubt it. I would think, that they will utilize Hezbollah, and their different proxy, militant groups that they have in Syria. Okay. So I wouldn't see a direct conflict with Iran and the Israelis, anytime soon, but it could be, and like I say, the C-hip, it becoming mandated, like all these things are tied together, and they can cause some things to happen, and it's set up for it to spiral out of control. We're watching these things, and we know it can go either way. So we're watching, and seeing what's going on, but pretty much just to sum everything up. All right, the IDF is in position to do a ground invasion on the Gaza Strip. Okay, and you have Iran supposedly saying that if they do that and they don't cease in 48 hours, that they are going to intervene. Whether directly or indirectly, that remains to be seen. Okay, now Egypt, is pretty much being targeted by the West, because it has aligned itself economically, all right, with the Saudis, all right, which are enemies to the Israelis. Okay, they align themselves with the Russians, all right, which are allies to Iran, which are enemies of the of the Israelis. Okay, and line themselves up with China, which is aligned with Russia. Okay, which is aligned with Iran, which are enemies to the Israelis, man. So it's gonna be bad for them small hats, man. All right, you sideburn people, you finished. The Lord is fed up with you niggas. Okay, the Lord is fed up, with all you heathens, man. Okay, and there's gonna be a visitation upon all you heathens, man. All right. So let's just get this real quick, and it's gonna go down in that region. Now I'm not saying this month, next month, next week, you know, probably won't be this year. We don't know. We're watching these things, all right, but eventually everything is gonna happen exactly how the Lord said it would happen, man. All right, so let's get this in Joel. All right, we'll end it out here. Just want to make sure that we all updated, getting the same information, understanding, all right, where we at with this thing, because you're gonna hear all type of madness, all type of, stories, nah, all right, the Lord, he has this agenda that's going forth in the earth. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9 said, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And the Lord is putting the spirit of war in the earth, okay, to fulfill prophecy, man. Okay? And all these nations and their leadership, all right, is in war mode. Okay? Everyone's in war mode, man. All right? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak sound strong. Yeah. All these nations, because Egypt, they have a formidable, air force. I looked at the top 10 air forces. I believe Egypt, it was on a lower tier, but it was like in the top 10, you know. So these nations, have stepped up their military capabilities, their weaponry, all these nations that was not a factor are now a factor in this war, and mainly because of nuclear, all right, capability, man. Okay, and this is what we're seeing. Okay, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till the cause Almighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh. Okay, and this is what we're seeing. The Lord is mustering the host of the battle, as the scriptures say. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, Yahweh Shaphat, all right, and that's in their region, all right, what they consider the Middle East, what would be north, it would be northwest Syria, close to Israel, the border with Israel, current Israel today. All right, it said, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So, hey, World War III is a time where the Lord, all right, is going to send Yahweh Shai, all right, on that chariot, on that throne to judge, okay, amongst the heathen, man, okay, to deliver his people and judge amongst the heathen. Verse 13 said, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. So all this wickedness that we've seen, becoming normalized in the earth, Okay, and then the things we see don't even compare to the wickedness we don't see. You know, but the things that have been normalized in the earth, okay, wickedness is great, and there's a judgment for it, man. All right, that's why missiles finna fly all over the earth, man. You know, but the main destination, okay, is America. You know, America could get some shots off, and you know, Russia gonna run through them EU nations, okay? But America is gonna be completely turned to a desert, man. All right, and it's gonna be, and this is the way that the Lord is gonna judge in this time is through fire, man. All right, through the nuclear holocaust, okay, and through the Yahweh and the chariots. It said, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay, so this is what everything is building up to, man. All right, the Lord getting ready to judge the earth. Okay, and these heathens and their militaries are going to be obliterated by Yahweh and the angels, man. Okay, but first these nations are going to, all right, do a lot of damage to each other. Okay, with America being completely destroyed. All right, so that's the point. You know, just wanted to make sure we was all in the loop. You know what's going on. You know, any questions? You know, any comments? Um, you know, concerning this conflict. You know, the things that you're seeing is something you're not understanding. You know, ask question on the comment board. You know, we'll get into it. You know, so with that, you know, pray that you brothers, all right, and you sister was edified. Till next time, I say shalom. Kwam Yashala, Bob, DTA, soon, shalom.